Hello y'all, and I'm out here in the forest with my friend Sergey over there. He's doing a review on my Spyderco Temperance. You'll see a review of that on my channel soon, and I will link his review in the description. Today I'm going to do out here some tests on the cold steel spike. I'm not focus on that. There you go. Too much light. The cold steel spike. I have the Tanto version, and let's see how it does. So here I'm going to whittle. What we have here is a piece of, what is this one? This one is eucalyptus, I believe. As soon as there's eucalyptus or pine, the piece I'm going to switch into later is the other one. So I'm trying to use both edges of the tanto shaped blade, and even though this is not really a bushcraft knife, it's more of a self-defense style knife, the fact that it is in a Scandi grind makes it really nice for carving. As you see, I made a pretty decent feather stick, and it carved really nicely into the wood. Now I did do a batoning test, but I can't seem to find the footage for it. Going to see in the background Sergey's going through his bag, which you see there, looking for some stuff. The reason you hear my overvoicing is because there was a lot of wind background, so you couldn't hear it. Here I'm changing to the other wood. I believe this one is pine because it's carving it a little easier. But it really, I haven't sharpened this in a while before I did this test, and it really is just biting into the wood and carving it really, really nicely. I mean, it's a workhorse from cold steel. There's very few tests I can do to it that they haven't done to it already. It's just a monster of a knife. If the handle was just a tiny bit thicker, this would be a perfect knife. This knife, as a bushcraft, survival, woodcraft knife, the handle is really, really small. I mean, it's supposed to be a technical knife, so for that it's an advantage. But when you have to put a lot of force on it in continuous cutting, you get a lot of strain on your hand for using it. Other than that, the blade is a really, really nice. It's a Scandi grind, and it just eats the wood like it's not there. But in a pinch, this would work great as a bushcraft survival knife. The main problem with the cold steel spike is how to carry it. It's intended as a neck knife, but it's quite big to be carried as a neck knife. It's pretty long, and I don't personally like neck knives. It doesn't have a attachment really for a tech lock, because the holes are tech lock style are a little too small for tech locks. What it does have though is a cold steel make-a clip that you can attach to it. I don't have it, I never got one, and there's probably a bunch of Chinese companies that make similar items. What I did do is I took a page off of the CRKT Ubaki, which is a Japanese style attachment, I guess, where you see the knife sits inside the waistline and is attached via a cord. I used paracord. So the paracord loops around the belt, and then it sits inside. The benefit of that is you can move it around, so it sits in a better place, a different place on you. And when you pull it out, I'm going to turn and try it. It comes out, the sheath is hanging on the side, it's out of the way, and your knife is ready for whatever you're going to do with it. When it clears the belt line, I'm going to, even in the front, it clears the belt line and only then comes out of the sheath, so you're in a very low risk of actually cutting yourself by pulling it out. There you go. That's how I carry it. Really like it. It's easy also to conceal, because all you have to do, push it a little deeper down, angle it a little. There's a little bit of nub sticking out. No one's ever going to know that you're carrying a knife. Well, they might know, but they ain't going to be dead. Let's get cutting. So I'm going to start with the hard corrugated plastic I've been using lately. Okay, the main blade goes right through it. Now this is after having it for a while, and okay, I can't really get out. Yeah, it cuts the tip barely, but the main part just goes right through it. Okay, so that's the corrugated plastic. Let's move that out of the way. And I have a zip tie. So zip tie. No zip tie. Let's try that one again. Here we go. Zip tie. Cold steel spike. No zip tie. Again, cold steel spike. No zip tie. Here I have some paracord. Oops. Here we go. Some paracord. Okay, it's really cutting it smoothly. I'm gonna double the triple just to make it more fun. 3 layers of paracord, all cut. So it cuts paracord. Let's try the thicker rope. This is about 1 centimeter thick. A little harder to do it, but it still cuts it pretty well. And it cuts it really nicely. I normally would use a tin can, but I don't actually have one of those available, and I don't have one of the plastic containers they've done. I do have a old leather belt, and it cuts right through it. And the tip does score into it, but because it's so far away, it's hard to get a good control on it without it sliding. But it will cut. So here I'm going to take the knife and use it as a kitchen knife, despite the fact that it's quite a thick blade. You'll see in a minute when you see the dimensions. It cut really well through the onion, and here you see it diced it pretty nicely. The main blade is really sharp. The tip is not as sharp after, well, I've probably used it more. I've had this knife for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now. So I cut the onion. Here we have some mushrooms. They look a little tired. They're okay. I'm going to use them for cooking, so they're fine. Dice them really nicely. These are semi-soft, and still it went really easy through them. And after that, I'm going to use it on a tomato. You're going to see it cut the tomato really, here, you're going to see how it cut it. It did the main cuts really nicely. After the tomatoes were sliced, you'll see that in a second, it did struggle a little bit. So these cuts it was okay with. These cuts it did struggle a little with, but it still cut them really nice. So in a pinch, this would work great as a kitchen knife. Not recommended if it's the only thing you have, but it will work really nice. So here you can see the dimensions of the
I have the tanto version
knife and whatever.
You can get it in several different styles. I think they have a clip point, what do they call it? Clip point, drop point. I'll post a picture of them on screen. So the tanto, I really like it. It's good for a self-defense knife. It's intended to be a neck knife, which, as I said before, I mean, this thing is huge as a neck knife. I mean, even if you know, it's not a neck knife, it's just a big knife. Now, when I did do testing, I was thinking, what can I do? You know, it's a cold steel. I can take it, take it to town, break whatever I want with it. And then I realized there is nothing that I can do that cold steel haven't done yet. So I tried throwing it into trees. I'm not going to put footage of that because I did it when it was still too dark. There wasn't good lighting, and I'm not a good throw. So it did stick in the tree once or twice, but bounced off most of the times because I don't know how to throw knives that well. As a self-defense knife, I think it's a little too small. I mean, in the hand, it's comfortable for when I need it, but as a knife, it's a little too small, a little too thin in the handle dimensions, and if I could have a choice, I would take a blade that's a little longer. Sorry, my cat's doing noise over there. It's a nice knife. It's balanced really well. I mean, the balance point is right where your finger sits, so right here. It's a nice knife. Scandi grind. As you can see what I did the tests with it. It feels nice in the hand, but it's too small for really using. I mean, if you hold it the way I was trained to get a 3.5 finger grip, if you hold it the way it looks like it's designed, you do get just barely a 4-finger grip. You have the guard because of the shape of the handle. I don't really know what to say about it. It's a good knife. You get it. I mean, you won't be sorry for owning this, but it's more of like a backup knife for anything that you're going to use. So it's not really a main fighting knife. It shouldn't be. It's not really a bushcraft knife. I feel like it falls between too many lines for it to actually be a viable option as your main blade. As a secondary blade, especially if you get like a clip or attach it to a piece of gear, or if you want a lightweight and you just need a knife for like small things, not really bushcraft, or not really camp, or not really fighting. If you're going on a light backpack trail, this knife is really light. You can attach it to the back to your backpack, and you won't be sorry for having it. Plus, it's a cold steel. It's tough. You can see the tests I did, and if you really want to go see what cold steel did to it. I know this is the second iteration of it, and right now it's kind of hard to find the tanto version or tanto. But it's what I have. I've had it for quite some time now. I really like it. Anyhow, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please leave a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all on another day.